Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I really do miss hanging out with you guys at the block and being able to see you every week face to face. But I'm so glad that we have Zoom and ways that we can connect with each other, even though we can't see each other physically right now. So, Pastor Dan asked me just to share a little bit about me and my, little bit about what church has meant to me, and really just how Jesus has been a huge part of my life. So my journey actually started, I went to church when I was little, here and there, but it wasn't until my sophomore year in high school. I was pretty lonely. I was kind of just lost. I felt kind of like I was doing things. I was really busy. I was involved in a lot of things, but I just really felt like something was missing. And my brother actually was invited to go to a thing at a youth group, and my mom made me go with her to pick him up. And I didn't really want to go, but I'm like, fine, I'll go. And I was in the car. And when we got there to the church to pick him up, this girl came running over and she's like, "Hey, my name is Renee." And she's like, "I'd love for you to come to youth group next week. Here's all the kids that go to your school that are at our youth group. I would love for you to come." And she's like, "Come on Wednesday." So obviously it was what I needed to hear, because I had never been invited to something like that before. And she was so kind and so friendly. And she took time to write down names of kids that went to my school. And I went to a pretty big high school, but I did know some of those names. So I finally made the point. I said, "Mom, could I please go try that out on that Wednesday?" And so I'm so very thankful that Renee came up to that window of the car that day and told me about it, because I started my journey of coming on Wednesday nights also, but this was at my church in Oregon where I grew up. And it was cool because that relationship started growing, and I started realizing that they were talking about something that I had never understood before. I believed in God, and I knew that He existed, that He created the world. I went to Sunday school some when I was a little kid, but I didn't really understand. So a little more time went on, and I started developing relationships with the other students, and I got to know the youth pastor, which we called PK, which is like Pastor Dan is to us, but it's like PK was the one that was in charge of our youth group. And just over time, I really started learning more and more about God. And I kept hearing people talking about being saved. And so I finally, one day, I asked one of my friends, Tracy, one of the girls that went to youth group with, and I said, "Hey, what does that word saved mean?" And so she and her mom sat down and opened up the Bible and started talking to me about how Jesus loved me and how He died for my sins, and that I was a sinner, but that He loved me enough that He died for me. And I just had never heard that relationship of love before, even though I knew about Jesus, but I didn't really know what He had done for me. So that day changed my life forever, because I decided to take that step of faith and accept Jesus as my Savior and the one that's going to rule my life. And so fast forward a little time, I continued to go to youth group and grow in my relationship, but I actually went to a college, a Bible college. And so I was surrounded by so many different things about the Bible and about Jesus, and growing my relationship. And my favorite times in the morning is always when I pick up my Bible and be able to read a Bible verse or a devotional or something like that, because it's really part of that growth. But one of the things that has really changed and fed me in my relationship is my time at church, because I talked about youth group, and for me and for you guys, church for you, a lot of it is youth group, right? That's what we know. We go on Wednesday nights, we go to the block and we hang out there and we learn about Jesus. But then I knew that there was more that needed to happen. So I decided to start going to church on Sunday mornings also. And so it was huge, because I got to meet a bunch of other people that believed in Jesus. I had more support and love from people that went to our church, and got to experience just all that there is about what church is all about. I love to sing, so I got to sing sometimes at church, and I started being able to serve there and be able to participate in the community that the church has. And so not only was I having time in my personal time growing in Jesus, I was able to go to youth group and learn from PK and the other leaders and stuff. And then I also was able to go to church on Sundays and be able to get to meet the people there and learn about how even more how Jesus could be part of my life, and have the examples of church and examples of people that love Jesus every day. And so I was able to do that. And then fast forward, as I said, I went to a Bible college. And so I learned how to how about church and how important it was. I went to church there and began serving. And it was just really, really cool because as I grew, I had the church there that kind of grew along with me. And so they were there. The church is there for me to learn and to grow, but then also have a way to have others come with me and enjoy that with me. And so I've been able to serve on what we call worship team and be able to sing. And I do that here now at Bethel. And I did that at a church in Pennsylvania and in Michigan too, where we lived at one point. But the biggest part is the relationships of the people that I've been able to meet at church has been a big part of my growth, because there's somebody there that loves me and cares for me and is walking alongside me in my faith journey. So I hope that really encourages you, because church is a lot of fun, but it's also a great place to learn and grow and know more about Jesus. So I do hope that this is something that you want for you too, because I know that any of us would love to be able to pick you guys up if you need a ride and bring you to church, because believe me, it's so worth it to have a church family even beyond Wednesday night, because that's even more opportunity to grow and learn more about Christ. Thanks so much for listening.